Helo, a croeso I Forgotten Clubs. Series newydd am hanes pêl-droed yn Gogledd Cymru. Dwi'n ffilmio fideo achos dwi'n wedi ysgrifennu llyfr newydd a dwi'n eisiau i cefnogi y llyfr. Y llyfr enw'r Forgotten Clubs of North Wales. Dwi'n ysgrifennu am hanes pêl-droed yn Gogledd Cymru a hen clwb pêl-droed. Dwi'n eisiau i dechrau y series yn Caernarfon achos mae gen i teulu yn yr ardal a dwi'n hoffi y dre. Dwi'n dysgu Gymraeg a dwi'n mynd i siarad yn Saesneg rwan. So for those who didn't understand Welsh, this is a new series I'm going to be filming called Forgotten Clubs, which is going to be covering football history in North Wales, looking at old clubs that don't exist anymore. So this is the first episode now of a new series. So I'm starting it in Caernarfon because my ancestors are from the area, so I want to start it here. So yeah, just going to a bit of football history really in Caernarfon. There's a lot of Caernarfon clubs featured in my new book, Forgotten Clubs in North Wales. So there was, I'll just get my notes, sorry. So, so the first record of a football club in Caernarfon goes back to 1873 when a club called, just Caernarfon Football Club played against Portmaddock. Now, there was, shortly after that, there was a combined match between, it's unthinkable now, combined match between a Caernarfon and Bangor team to select the team for a game against Wrexham. But then in 1876, there was a club called Caernarfon Athletic. And Caernarfon Athletic played in the first ever Welsh Cup competition. So they played in the Welsh Cup for a few seasons. And then something that I've sort of learned from researching history really is that nothing really changes. Obviously, there's still a sort of misconception now regarding, say, the FAW, that it doesn't matter what part of Wales you're from, that they hate you and they favour clubs from elsewhere. Well, this was no different in the 1870s when clubs in Gwynedd and on the North Wales coast didn't like the Wrexham-centric, or they viewed the FAW as being Wrexham-centric at the time, so they formed their own breakaway association called the Northern Welsh Football Association, who had their own cup as well. So Caernarfon Athletic then played in the Northern Welsh FA Cup for a number of seasons. So Caernarfon Athletic became inactive in around 1887. Another team in the area had emerged around 1885 called Caernarfon Wanderers. It's possible that Caernarfon Wanderers were probably an amalgamation of a lot of different clubs in the area. Caernarfon Wanderers only existed for 2 seasons, but in that time they played in the Welsh Cup, but they also played in the FA Cup as well. So the first team from this area to play in the FA Cup, and they played Stoke, but they lost 10-1. So they went inactive in around 1887 as well, around about the same time that the previous Caernarfon Athletic had also become inactive. Okay, so by 1889, Caernarfon Athletic had reformed themselves as the Caernarfon Athletic and Recreation Company. So by 1889, we start seeing the first references to the Marcus Street Recreation Ground. And then by April 1889, we start seeing the first references to the Oval. So that's where we are now. So Caernarfon Athletic folded again for a second time in 1893. By this point, there was another club in the area had emerged by the name of Caernarfon Ironopolis. So Caernarfon Ironopolis started off as the works team of the De Winston's Ironworks. That they were formed by someone called Arthur Menzies, who played in their first game. So Menzies played in the first game as well. Someone called De Winston's played in the first game as well. So they played in the North Wales Coast League, which they won twice. They also won the North Wales Coast FA Cup a few times, and they got to a Welsh Cup semi-final in 1900. This club folded in 1903. Then in 1906, another club called Caernarfon United emerged in the area. Again, they played at the Oval. And they actually played in yellow shirts and green shorts, and were nicknamed the Canaries. So things, could be the start of you know, what the present modern day club are known as now. So this club, Caernarfon United, folded in 1914. They actually resigned from the North Wales Coast League in 1914, but the North Wales Coast League actually rejected their resignation. But there wasn't really any outcome towards this, because all football was stopped soon after, and because of World War One. But then the club didn't re-emerge again until, well, it didn't re-emerge after the war. Obviously, there's been a lot of football clubs in Caernarfon down the years. Obviously, the one now is Caernarfon Town. We're playing the Cymru Premier League, so yeah, at their ground now. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. Diolch yn fawr am gwylio, a cofiwch i prynu y llyfr. Llyfr enw'r Forgotten Clubs in North Wales. Diolch yn fawr.